Hi guys, I'm Captain Nurse and welcome to episode 5 of Surviving the Redstone. Today we'll be looking at redstone stations, minecart stations, those ones. Alrighty. Anyway. Okay. Minecart sound is still playing. Odd. Anyway, so ever since we got booster rails and things like that, we haven't really seen a lot of minecart stations as far as I've seen. There could be, but I haven't really seen a lot. So we used to see them a lot back when we were looking at booster carts. Now, if you know what those are, there's plenty of videos on YouTube all about them. They're really quite interesting, but they don't exist anymore. So, no point showing you. No, I'm going to build over here, because that's really annoying a sound. Anyway, so, if you don't know what minecart systems are, I'll quickly just show you how minecarts work and all that sort of stuff, but hopefully you should know what they are. Anyway, so, there's 3 types of minecart tracks. There's normal track, detector rails, and booster rails. They kind of speak for themselves. So if you just push the minecart along here, pretty simple. Anyway, on with the actual tutorial. So what we build is a pretty interesting concept for a minecart station that I designed. It took me a while, this is why it's been so late, but anyway, so let's get to it. So, first thing we want to do is we're going to lay down a little area that the minecart actually lands at. So we'll just build that here. And we'll have it right here. So you'll get into your minecart right here. Put a bit of a wall up, like so. And the minecart will be pushed through this hole here. So we go to the minecart back, okay. And so it's simply like this. Now I gotta count the blocks. 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have the corner. Now I'll explain why the corner is there in a second, but for now, just trust me. Anyway, and we have a dispenser. So, in the latest snapshots, and I'm in the latest snapshot, 12W40B, but in 1.3.2 even, you can actually dispense minecart straight from minecart, so dispensers onto the track. So it's right in front, like so. So when it dispenses, obviously, it kind of just lands right in front of the player, and then they can boost off. So all we have to do is we have to just power that block. So we're gonna do it right there. Cover that, and so when they leave, they simply push off. There we go. Pretty simple. But I don't like simple. So we're gonna get a little bit more advanced. I'm just gonna build a little bit of a platform here. Make it look a little bit nicer. And we're gonna do a few things that from the old way of doing things and the new way, kind of melding them both together. So the first thing we want to do is just quite literally link that button there up with this dispenser. So basically, whenever someone leaves, a new minecart is dispensed. So it's pretty basic. So what we do is we're going to build straight under here. We're going to go 2 blocks this way, and probably going to get this wrong, knowing my luck and how well I design things. Just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it goes. Yeah. Sorry, just doing mental notes here. So there we go, and we've got to build something else here, but I'm not going to show you that then. I'm just going to keep on with this tutorial. Kind of getting a lot of things in my head now. Anyway, so when someone leaves the minecart station, so we go like that, it will, as you saw, redstone will come and eject into the minecart. So let's do that again really quickly. Yep. So we throw a minecart, something gets in, pushes forward, fires off, and a new one comes in place. Pretty simple. Now we could just leave it there, but like I said before, don't like things simple, so we're going to go a bit more advanced. What if this thing runs out? So we need to have a backup system. So we're going to use an old system that happened long ago, and unless you're back in alpha sort of days, you wouldn't understand what it is. But we're going to build one anyway. It's an old traditional stacked minecart station. Well, I'm sorry, storage dispenser. We used to call them Pez dispensers back in the day. Anyway, so one looks pretty much like this. Now, what we're going to do instead of a door, if you know what I'm talking about with these, I'm going to use a trapdoor. So it's just that simple, and then we just kind of build it up and up and up, depending on how high we want it. Now, one thing we're going to do is we're actually going to remove this panel, and we're going to put glass there instead, to make it kind of, so you can see how many minecarts are left in the dispenser. And there we go. Now we're going to power this block by under there, put that back up, and it's pretty simple. But it's not. Now if we just kick this line here, straight to this line, straight to this door, we're going to have a kind of issue because they're both going to fire at the same time. Now, we have to make sure that only when this is empty that this fires. Just in case you don't understand how this works, I'll just quickly go over it. So when it's loaded with minecarts, like so, they sit on top of the edge of the trapdoor there. But, actually I only want one. Second. There we go. So, when the trapdoor's down, it drops it onto the track and flies through and lands the exact same spot. So, it's kind of weird how it works, but that's with the hitboxes of the trapdoor, it just works. Anyway, so what we really need to do is make a detector for this, so only when it fires will this fire. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use this detector rail here. So we're going to dig down, and if we just put 2 lines here, we're going to have an issue, because it's going to get powered by the redstone torch into this block. So use a dispenser, sorry, a repeater, right there, and it's all fixed. And then on the back of this block, we're actually going to put a torch. Now it's an inversion, so when this is activated, this will be off. So, one thing you've got to be careful as well is making sure this stays on the right amount of time. But we'll get to that. Anyway, I'm kind of going all over the place here. Anyway, so how are we going to make sure this fires? So this fires only when this is empty. Well, we're going to be using some kind of tricky timing. So, if we put a block there and a bit of repeater there, or all the way around, and if we link them up like this, like that, then that'll be fine. And if we just use a button here, it'll be fine. So you can see that this, just as an example, this does fire, like so. Now, like I said before, we've got an issue that we don't want this to be on for too long, because if we have multiple minecarts in here, so we have multiple, so 3 for now, we have 3 minecarts in here, and it stays out for too long, they all just drop out and make a mess of my system. So what we really need to do is we need to make it way so it's only a single tick of pulse goes to this block here. So what we do is we need a pulse limiter. Now I did look at these in my Redstone tutorials. If you want to find those, they're on my channel, so free to go there, but I'm just going to build this very simple one right here. So there we go. Now what this does is very simple. When this block is powered, it does a bit of tricky stuff. I'll try to explain it actually really quickly. What happens is this torch turns off, allowing this to turn on and powering this up, and then 3 ticks later, when this turns off, this comes out and allows for 1 pulse when this is off. Bit kind of weird, but it's really handy for a single tick. So if we do this now, see that door tick for exactly just 1 tick instead of a big long pulse because of this button being a long pulse. So if you look over here, this side, if we just put a button there, it would take ages for it to, and it'll just release all of them. So that's why we have this here. Pretty simple. Anyway, so we can't have this just link straight in. We have to have a timer, so that if this gives us some time to dispense a minecart and for this to be activated and for this block to be pulled back, so it can't be powered. If you're following me. So what we're going to do is simply wire up another bit here, off this way. It's going dark. There we go. And we're going to have some delay. Now we don't need a lot. We only need about 8 ticks. So if we just add another repeater in, it'll be fine. So simulate it. Well, it's not. Now that's because we need something else in here. What we need to build is we need to pull another pulse limiter, just to make sure that this pulse is only a single tick long, so it's not dragging on forever, as you saw with this long pulse in both of the repeaters. So I'm going to build a different design, but still pretty basic. So I'm just going to, oops, it's pretty simple, and we just build like that, and there we go. So we just run the current. I'm calling it current when I should just call it pulse because I do electronics. Anyway, not part of the story. So now, yeah, not working because that isn't running into the block. So we're going to just pull this back one, like so. We can just run it over the top if we want to, but we're not. We're going to run it into the block like so, and we'll just pull this here instead. So now when we press the button, which we'll put here, no pulse, so no minecart came out, so pulse went through. But if we put a minecart in here, and press it again, it retracts, doesn't allow that to fire. Shouldn't let it fire. Let's just check what happened. Okay, got minecarts in there again. So we're just doing it a little bit too late, so we can just change the delay a little bit. Oh. We've got a pulse going along with this. Stupid. So, there we go, and we'll just put another minecart in there, so now it should work perfectly. We just gotta tweak that one repeater there. And there we go, now it works perfectly. So, pretty basic, pretty simple, that's pretty much all we need, but let's go a little bit more advanced. What we're going to do is we're going to add in a manual override button, so in case there's no minecart there, we can trigger it. So that's a pretty simple one to do. Simply just going to... Now we need to leave this gap here, so when the minecarts turn, they go in the right spot. Now one thing we also have to do is quickly put a torch into there, so it's always facing that way. So that when this goes through, it goes straight along. Alright. So you also need to leave this space here because of the turning. So we'll just kind of fill it in here. And we're okay. Alright, like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a button here so we can have a simple access to the line here. So we just gotta... 1 second. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Sorry. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply run a line along here. And that should be good. So if we press this button, oops, nope, didn't work again. That's going to revert. One more time, like that. There we go. So when you press this button and there's no minecart, for instance, there, it will dispense one for you. Brilliant. Now, that's almost good enough, but we're going to do one more thing. We're going to have a warning light, so when the dispenser's out, it lets the players know that it's actually you drawing carts from the stack. So that's pretty simple. We're just going to add in a light up here, like so, and we're just going to tie it straight in. We just kind of fill up the wall a little bit more. Into this system right here. So we're just going to tower up like so. And one more. And then we're just going to do an RS-NOR latch. Now those are pretty easy to do. Just a simple like so. Having not having words to say. And like so. So that we have current there. Now we just need to invert. Actually, no, we don't need to invert the signal. Actually, we do. Which is easy. We just simply go like that. And what we'll do is we'll lower the block actually. And put it there instead. So the dispenser is out. So the light will be on. Now we can simply deactivate that by putting a button up here. So if we fill the minecart with just one minecart, so the dispenser with just one minecart, the person goes, the new one comes out, and that shouldn't be firing. I think I'm doing it the wrong way around. Like so. The one bit that I've got an issue with. There we go. I think that's right. And so when this one goes, okay, the light's broken. Let's just fix that. So we're just gonna see how it's Why it's not working? Ah, yeah, it's the wrong way around. So if we have it like that, we do want that inverter actually. I'm getting confused myself here. This is what redstone does to you. Anyway, so if this is empty, like so, we call for a minecart. There isn't one. It's empty. Light turns on, and it'll start drawing from this stack. Pretty basic, pretty simple, but works a treat. So this is the first part of the series. I'm going to also do a arrival system and add a little bit more features, but that'll come in later tutorials because it's already quite a long. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Captain Ez, and until next time, have a nice night. Hi guys, just a quick note. I made a little mistake with the repeaters. Just a little thing. You got to make sure that this one is on 3, this one is on 1, this one is on 2, and this one is on 4. Otherwise the system won't work. Really, it's all about tweaking it. You can have it with different values, but this is the one I've been working with. Sorry about the little mistake there, guys. Anyway, catch you next time.